It's Cree. Happy Monday, everyone. We are in a new month, November. We made it, y'all. The 11th month of 2024. It came so fast. I feel like this year has just zoomed out of here. I thought, just thinking about the months and everything, it just seemed like January just happened. We just celebrated the new year and was talking about all the great things we were going to do in 2024. And we only have 2 months left, y'all. The holidays are here, coming up real quick. Thanksgiving and Christmas, and everybody's super excited. I keep seeing everybody posting all their holiday posts saying it's time to put up their Christmas decorations, trees, and they're looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it as well. I love the holidays, but it takes me a little time to really get in the Christmas season. I like to wait until Thanksgiving, and then we will put up, decorations. Um, One of my daughters, she loves the holidays, so I'll wait for her to come home from school, because she's in college, so we can put up decorations. But yes, this is November. This is beginning of the 11th month, and we still have 2 months to do the things we need to do to get it right for this year, 2024. So, if you have been joining me on Mondays and joining the conversation, we've been talking about in the month October, where we're talking about my teenage pregnancy, keeping a secret from my mom, and how that went, and how healing and talking about those things helped me heal from the situation, but also telling my story hopefully help someone who was going through or currently going through similar situations, keeping secrets, whatever, that may have been for those individuals. So this is something I'm going to continue to do every Monday. I will go live, and it will be a different conversation each month, but we will have different topics. So I'm hoping that I have more people join me this time, because I really would like the interaction from people, because the conversation goes two ways. But hey, until that happens, I'll still be getting on here and telling my stories, because that's what I'm supposed to do. So every week we start with, when I go live, we have a verse of the week from the Bible. So this week, the verse will be Matthew 5, verse 4. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. And the reason I picked this verse for this week is because the topic for this month is grief and learning to live after loss. So I know that's kind of a heavy subject or whatever, but one thing for sure, everyone has dealt with loss and has had some type of grief. So I think it's important to have this conversation about grief, because so many of us are dealing with that. And grief can change your life. It really can. Just losing someone that you love so much, and just them not being here with you anymore, can have a big impact on your life and how you move forward after. So that verse, Matthew 5, um, or scripture, I should say, Matthew 5, verse 4, blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. And that's true. And mourning is nothing to be ashamed of. We all need to do it through loss, and it's different ways to go about that. Um, Grief is something that, like I said, everyone has experienced in this lifetime, and I mean, it's just part of life to lose someone. We're not all going to be here forever, but sometimes it comes, kind of too soon and unexpectedly. And I don't care what you do to try to prepare yourself for it. Like, say, someone that's sick, they have an illness, and you are able to spend time with them before that time comes. It's still a very hard thing to deal with. Um, and it looks different for each person. Each person that has had a loss, um, and who have lost, even if you lost the same person, your mother, your father, sister, brothers, aunties, grandparents, children, your loss is different from somebody else that may have lost similar people in their lives. But the one thing we all can do is just be compassionate, be there for each other, but also give people the space they need to deal with the losses, and whatever they ask you or what they say they need, just be there for them. And I know it can be hard. This is a very touchy subject because, like I said, everybody deals with it differently. Some people, don't show sorrow right away because they have to be the person that's strong for the family. You have people who can't do anything. It's so crippling that their life stops. And I've experienced that on a personal level with loved ones on different aspects of loss. But today, I'm actually going to tell a story about a loss I've had in my life that impacted me so greatly up until this point. And the loss happened as a child. I was, a child, and I lost someone very important to me. Um, and the person who I lost was my grandmother from my father's side, my father's mother, um, Grandma Lula. So Grandma Lula was a special person in my life. Yes, she was my grandmother, but she just represented so much more to me. As a child, she always was there. From the time I could remember, she always was around. Outside of my mom, she's the one person I spent the most time with. She actually lived in Michigan, and I would go there every time that I could. She would make sure she would come get me, and I would just be there. And I got introduced to my father's side of the family through her because unfortunately my dad was not very present in my life. He made appearances and we did have a relationship, but it wasn't really good in the beginning or, when I was a child. And I will speak on that relationship, you know, maybe next week because I'm going to speak about my loss of my father as well because he's no longer with us. But my grandmother was just so happy to have me as a grandchild because it was always said that my father could not have children. So she was super excited when she found out, that I was his child. So she always made herself present in my life, and I thank God for her. At one point, my grandmother was so significant in my life. Like I said, every chance I got or she had, she came and got me, and I was with her. When I started school, obviously I couldn't be there as much, but every break I had, every holiday, she made sure she came and got me. So I was always with my grandmother in that side of the family in Michigan. So my mom, so to tell the story of how I spent so much time with my grandmother, my mother, at a very young age, I think she was 30, had a massive stroke on her birthday. And she basically was not able to care for me in the proper way because she was so sick and the stroke had really caused her to not be able to do anything for herself. She actually had to learn how to walk, how to talk, and how to do all those things over again. So during that time that she was in the hospital and before she came home, um, she made the decision that my grandmother would come get me, and I actually moved with her, my grandmother, for about 6 months. I want to say it was so long ago, so I'm not sure at the time frame, but I want to say 5 to 6 months. I was with her and my family in Michigan. And she was just the most loving person. And I believe to this day, and I would tell anyone, that the reason I am the way I am and I love the way I love is because of my grandmother, Lula. She just loved me to a point where, I don't know, it was just nurturing, it was everything I needed at that time. Um, and one thing that we had special between each other, between us, is that she know when I was younger, I loved chocolate milk. So anytime we would go to the store, she would make sure she would give me my chocolate milk or already have it there for me. I was just spoiled. She spoiled me, I will say. And anybody, my aunties, and anybody that know, I was a little spoiled brat when it came to her. So at one particular time, I don't even know how old I was, but I'm thinking I was about, I want to say 9, 10, no older than that, no older than 10. That particular summer, like I said, I would go and spend time with her. I decided not to go that summer because my mom was not feeling well. She was really, dealing with what was going on with her since she had her stroke. And I wanted to stay with her. So I told her, I will stay here. I don't want to leave you. So I won't go to Michigan this summer. So around that same time, I had an older sister, and she actually, and this was a thing back then, the chat room party lines or whatever. She actually had been going on there, and she was running the phone bill up, and my mom had no idea about it until the bill came out, and it was a excessive amount, and my mom could not afford to pay the bill. So the phone had to be cut off and disconnected. So with that being said, we didn't have a house phone, and back then wasn't no cell phones or nothing. If you didn't have a house phone, that's how you wasn't communicating with people outside of your house, outside of seeing them in person. So with my, like I said, my grandmother lived in Michigan, my family lived in Michigan, so I wasn't able to communicate with anyone from the family during that time frame. And I don't remember how long we were without a phone, but it was some time. I don't know if it was the full summer months, or I just don't remember. It was a while ago. But I know eventually we did get another phone, and um so I didn't call because I didn't know the number by heart, but I did know the address because, like I said, I lived there. So I wrote a letter to the house, to my grandmother, and letting them know, hey, we got our new phone. Here's the number. Call me. So I was so excited, to hear from everybody, because I hadn't talked to them in a while. So my auntie called, and she was saying, yeah, I got the phone number. So I was calling, and I was just like, oh, hey, I wasn't really interested in speaking to no one but my grandmother. So I'm like, hey, where's grandma? Put her on the phone. And she was like, oh, and she was like, you don't know. And I'm like, I don't know what. And she was like, um, my family on my father's side, my name is Little Chrissy. So she's like, Little Chrissy, grandma passed away, which is her mom. And I was like, what? What are you talking about? Like, that is not funny. That's not something you should be playing about. Like, let me talk to grandma. What are you talking about? Because it wasn't processing. So my other auntie was there, her sister. So I was like, well, put her on the phone. And so she put her on the phone. I'm like, hey, where's grandma? She's talking, she said this, that, and other, and I don't believe her. So why is she playing like that? And she was like, no. She was like, unfortunately, she's not playing. Grandma passed away. She was sick, and she passed away in whatever time frame. I don't remember. But it had been a while from the time that she passed, and, they had her services. It had been quite a bit of time. And it was just like, what are y'all saying to me right now? Because the person that I, love with my whole heart, and I hadn't been in contact with her because of the circumstances, which I'm not blaming anyone, but um, she was gone. But, and like I said, it's something that I dealt with as a child, but obviously the grief is still here, me talking about it, which is crazy because I have been doing very well talking about it without getting emotional. But obviously, the hurt and the pain is still present today, all these years later, because there was no closure there. I didn't get to see her, and I didn't get to go to the services. So I just been dealing with this for all that time, the loss. But even growing up after that, I still, had relationships with my family, so I still would go to Michigan, but it was just never the same because my grandmother was not there. And you know how that goes once a major person in your life passes, and especially in a family unit, things do change. But so with that being said, it's important to talk about grief and how it affects children. Because especially today, so many children are dealing with loss, major loss. Um, it's not something that just started, but I just feel like in this day and age, it's just a lot. And a lot of children are, you know, losing their loved ones. And we need to understand that children process differently. Because even when I had that loss, I didn't know what to do with that. I just know I was sad, but I almost just like moved forward because what could I do? So obviously the pain always remained, but as time went on, I learned how to cope, or just, not too much think about it, I guess, and just push it down. And I think, like I said, when it came to really processing it, um, I think that happened when I went to therapy, and I had back in 2018. So I talked about a lot of things that maybe I was not dealing with, such as the teenage pregnancy and how that affected me, and the grief of losing my grandmother. So speaking with her about that was very helpful. And even today, still talking about it. So recently, um, I had like an aha moment that I still was really dealing with it kind of hard, because it was a book that kind of came up, and it was about childhood grief. And I realized that I don't know if I ever really grieved the proper way as a child, because I didn't know how to do that. And I don't think my mom really knew how, because that's hard. So that's why I am currently sharing my stories, because it's healing for not just me, but other people that may see this and follow this, to know, it's okay to be sad. It's okay to have these feelings, because we human. And when somebody dies that you love, it changes you. So I would tell anyone who's gone through a major loss of someone they love is to seek professional help. Go talk to someone about it, so you can know how to process it and how to move forward. Because I talk to people every day that, lost somebody in their lives. I've had my own experience with it. I've experienced it, with my loved ones. So I will speak on that too later on this month, on some of the other lives that I have, about how the different scenarios about of loss, and how it affected these people, and how it affected me being in relation to them, but also some other stories. But I just needed, to get on here and talk about this, because it's something that's really major in people's lives, and it changes people, and we don't know sometimes how much it changes us, and we move through life and we lose ourselves. But the people that we love wouldn't want us to be sad. They wouldn't want us to stop living. They would want us to, continue this journey of life. And so please seek professional help, talk to somebody, or even just other people that you have as a support system, and just heal, because that's what we need to do, um, to be okay and to be able to continue this life, because this life is beautiful that we have been blessed to have, and all of us are going to leave here one day. But it's just a hard thing to deal with. One thing that definitely helps, and I know I talk about this a lot, is having a relationship with God, and also just praying for comfort and strength to get through those hard times when you have a loss. And I mean, COVID was such a hard time for people because so many people lost loved ones to that virus, and it was just so devastating. Some people lost their whole families, like immediate families, and I couldn't even imagine that. And I'm just thankful that that wasn't my story. I didn't lose anyone to COVID or during that time, and I'm just so thankful for that. But just praying to God for strength and understanding, and for Him to help you through, to continue living after you've had a major loss. Um, it just, I mean, I can't say enough about prayer. Just having a prayer life, just letting God guide you, and having a relationship with God is just life changing. And I only talk about it because of my experiences. That I've overcome so many things and so many heartaches, and only because God and the people He's placed in my life, my support systems, and I'm just so thankful every single day. So that's why I can get on here and speak about some of these things that are hard. And maybe some people might even think like, why are you telling these stories, or why are you putting yourself out there like that? Because if I could see somebody that has been through what I've been through, and maybe even gave me some encouragement, that would be helpful. So that's why I do it. And every subject, obviously, and conversation that we have is not going to be so deep, but these are things that's on my heart to share. So that's why I'm doing it. And I hope that is helpful for anybody that may be watching this or may see this in the future, or even from my kids, my relatives, my grandkids one day. That's what I'm hoping. And grief, it doesn't go away. We just learn to cope. We learn to move forward every day with the pain. But the main thing we can do is just keep the memories alive of the loved ones that we lost. So always thinking about the good times, the memories, the things that they brought to our lives, the love, like with my grandmother. Like I said, without her in my life, I really don't believe I would be the person I am today. She really influenced who I am as a person, as a woman, as a mother. And hopefully one day when I'm a grandmother, I'm going to draw from the things that she did for me and how she loved me. So I'm just thankful to have her for that little bit of time that I did, because it was such a blessing. And yes, I wish that I could have had more time, but who doesn't? She could have lived to be 100, and I still would have wished I had more time, I'm sure. Um, but memories, like the things that they've taught us. That's why I'm a big person when it comes to taking pictures and capturing memories with my family. Like, it's a major thing for me, because I always like to go back and look and have those things, those pictures when they pop up every day, from even when the kids were smaller. Now they all grown up, not babies no more, but it's a wonderful thing. And so one day, when I'm gone, I hope they can look back at the pictures and the memories that we created and everything I've taught them, and know that, you know, it's just a part of life. People leave every single day. But that's why we should be the best people we can be to everyone that's in our lives. If you love someone, tell them you love them. Show them. If you are not agreeing with someone, that's okay. Disagreements happen. You should never let somebody mistreat you, and you should always have your boundaries. But have the conversation if you're not talking to someone, because people leave here every single day and we don't know when. And the worst thing, in my opinion, is to not be speaking to someone, or be, falling out with someone, and then they're not here anymore, and you just have all this regret in your heart of what could have been said or what you would have did differently. I just feel like that does not have to be the case. Not to say that if you are disagreeing with someone or they've done something to hurt you, that having a conversation is just going to change all that and make it better. It doesn't. Not 100%, but at least getting that conversation started with that person and letting them know how they hurt you, or, just saying, hey, I didn't agree with that, or And y'all can agree to disagree, but at least you talked. Y'all got everything off your chest. And maybe you can move forward with mending your relationship, or maybe not talk again. But and that's what I'm going to speak on more next week, when it comes to my father. Because like I said, he wasn't really in my life like I would have liked him to be as a father. And so it was a lot of resentment and a lot of things and hurt that was within our relationship, but we were able to definitely come together and talk through things, and that was only by God's intervention. I think it was divine intervention how all of it happened. But once he left, it was no regret. I knew he loved me, and he knew I loved him. So I'm speaking from experience. You know what I'm saying? This is anything that I'm speaking on this platform. When I get on here, is because I've experienced it, I've witnessed it, and I just want to, have the conversation. And that's what I'm gonna do every single Monday. So now that I'm feeling, out my feelings, the tears have stopped. I see. I had some virtual encouragement from my husband. Thank you so much. I'm receiving all them hugs you sent. And from my mother-in-law, thank you so much for your encouraging words. It means the most. And I just want everyone to know that, life is so beautiful. It's such a gift. And we should do everything in our power to live the best life we can while we're here. Because life is precious and it's so fragile. You don't know the time that you're going to be here. You don't know when you're going to leave. So I think we should all do our best and strive to be the best people we can be while we're here. Love people, be kind, especially in 2024, because it seems like it's not that much kindness, or at least you don't see it as much. People are really going through it, especially during this election season. It's just a lot of hate, division, and it just breaks my heart. But if I can be a light in this dark world, that's what I want to do. I'm going to continue to shine my light. I'm going to continue to speak on the goodness of God and what he's done for me, the many blessings, because it makes a difference. And I'm just so grateful. I'm so grateful to just have the life that I have, to have the experiences I've had, even though they have not been easy and some heartbreaking, but it was basically preparing me for now. And all that work I've done and everything, I've been through, I'm able to talk about it and help others, then hey, it was worth it. Especially being able to, interact with people on a daily basis through my cosmetology business, Creations by Cree. And now to have this platform, Conversations with Cree. I'm just so very thankful to be able to be doing this. And it's only going to get better. It's only going to get better because I'm going to continue doing this. And because I've already completed October, that was 1 month down. Now we're in November. And then the end of the year, and then January is a brand new year. And hopefully this more people will start to follow, like, and share my content. And we will continue to talk about things. So I think that's all I have for now. And I hope that I was able to help anyone that may have been going through or a loss recently, or not recently, just grief, period, that I have encouraged you to, just heal. Talk to someone if you need to, professionally. Continue to pray, let God in, but always keep the memories of the loved one that you have lost fresh. You keep them alive that way. They would not want you down here just crying and sad. They would want you to continue to live the best life you can. So I'm going to say bye for now. And hopefully I will see you all next Monday on Conversations with Cree. I'll talk to you all soon. Bye.